Did you know that once upon a time you had to be cleared by essentially by your instructor before you could do martial art media, before you could write an article or appear in a magazine? Hello, everyone. This is Dwight Woods, the Jeet Kune Do Rebel, and welcome to the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcast number 238. This is the one about the Jeet Kune Do Sihing, Sibak, and Sisuk. As you're logging in, if you'd be kind enough to say where you're logging in from, hit the like button and feel free to continue doing so throughout the broadcast. If you're catching the simulcast over on the YouTube, please be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell as well. If you enjoy my work and you'd like to support the program, please visit jkdrebel.com, click on the Rebel Gear link, and that's where you'll see stuff like this, the JKD Notables coffee mug, hoodie, sweatshirt, t-shirt, long sleeve, short sleeve, all that good stuff. But of course, the best thing you can do is to share this video and spread the word about the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcasts. All right. I always found it interesting. Let me see if I can, I just literally 5 minutes ago, bear with me for a second, guys. 5 minutes ago, I just pulled took a snapshot of this, so I didn't even have time to upload it to the stream. So give me a second. Which one? This one. Okay. All right. So take a look at this. It's from a page in Sifu Inasano's. It's from a page in Sifu Inasano's JKD Art and Philosophy book, and it's the rules and regulations for the branches of the Junfan Gung Fu Institute. And so the second to last rule is a thing about salutations. And the first time I thought it was really interesting that in Bruce Lee's rules and regulations, he made a point to have students distinguish and differentiate between student to student salutation and student to instructor salutation, right? And then the last one, it says, in the absence of the instructor, an appointed senior student would take over. That wasn't actually, that was not the one that made me think of today's title. It was actually the other part. In any case, I just find that it's really interesting that when apparently when it came to stuff like seniority and respect for the art, respect for your elders, and even based on some stories, respect for your juniors in Jeet Kune Do, Bruce Lee was as traditional as any of the classical Gung Fu people out there, right? So that was the essential starting point for today's discussion. So my first experience of this idea of seniority and what have you was in a JKD setting. It was physical, even though I didn't know anything about it specifically at the time. I had seen, if you spent time like I did watching Kung Fu films, then you had seen the big brother thing at the Kung Fu school, right? I was aware of rank and systems because of the time that I spent in Shotokan and Wushuquan, because of the belt system or what have you. As I got started in the JKD world, it was like a whole new vibe, right? So I met Larry Hartzell, Tim Tackett, Paul Vunak, and Cass Magda all pretty much at the same time that I met Dan Inosanto, literally at the same time that I met Dan Inosanto. So at that time, I knew who Larry and Tim were because they had been featured in martial art magazines. But to me, it was pretty much, well, these are all Dan Inosanto students. Dan Inosanto is the man, right? And so these were all Dan Inosanto students in LA. I should point out too that I met Rick Fay at the same time as well. And so it was kind of through him that I gained I realized that you didn't have to be LA based in order to be good, right? So I learned that from Rick Fay, like from the get go. When I started traveling out to LA on a regular basis, I met even more guys. So now I met people like Chris Kent and Blaze Lung and Burt Richardson. So there was an even greater cast of characters, let's call it. So I started to learn and recognize who was senior to whom, who was from LA Chinatown, who was from the Inosanto backyard, who was from the early days of the Kali Academy, who was an Inosanto class assistant, who was a seminar assistant, and sometimes they were the same people, who was a backup instructor, who had their own classes, who had their own school and still trained at the academy on a consistent basis, who had their own school and still trained at the academy on a periodic basis, who had their own school and was no longer affiliated, right? Who was considered legendary in everybody's mind, and who was considered legendary in only that individual's mind, right? So of course, as more time passed, I learned that, you know, there were little cliques and there were little rivalries, and sometimes there were bigger rivalries, which was a little bit disappointing because, you know, I had come up from a little island and I had already experienced martial arts politics in the Japanese karate systems there, right? So it was a little bit disappointing to find out that there was politics in Jeet Kune Do, but what the hell? As I went through all of it and I learned about lineage path and about discipleship, and that kind of taught me how to better determine to whom to listen and to whom to pay attention. And essentially, I will say it was the guys who were on what I call the true JKD path and who were using the art as a vehicle for personal development, right? So how can you tell? In my case, it's from the quality of the in-class questions, the after-class questions, the quality of the answers given by them if I happen to ask them a question, the quality of topics of discussion. You know, I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard the stories about hanging out after class at the restaurant till the wee hours of the morning, and then the restaurant people kick you out, and so then you hang out in the car park and what have you, right? That type of stuff, that getting that kind of feedback, let's call it, from people senior to you. Well, in my case, it was I think pretty much everybody was senior to me, right? So that's how you learn about the quality. So okay, so you're scratching your head and asking, what the heck is Dwight carrying on about? Okay, so I'm glad you asked that. Is it just me, or have you also noticed the trend where everybody's a Jeet Kune Do expert simply because they have a certificate, they have a video channel, they have 1 or 2 video cameras, and they have access to the internet? So sometimes they put stuff out there, which is often simply a physical or otherwise regurgitation of things that they picked up from somewhere, without knowing much, if anything at all, about the origins of the stuff. So they don't know that what they're showing is inaccurate, incomplete, not well thought out, or just plain incompatible with the Jeet Kune Do philosophy, right? So how do I know this? Because I can trace a lot of what they say back to its origins, because I heard a lot of this stuff when I was coming up. But back in the days of Pangea, I was able to ask questions of my seniors, like I just explained to you, people whose experience in some instances doubled, tripled, quadrupled mine. And I was able to get detailed answers about why things were being expressed in a particular way. And that continues to this day, fortunately for me. So that's why today I try to never put out any Jeet Kune Do half truths or any Jeet Kune Do, what I call Jeet Kune Do white lies, right? So for example, everybody's heard it said something like Jun Fan Gung Fu is the physical art, which can be standardized, but Jeet Kune Do cannot, because it's personalized to suit the individual. This is an attempt that particular statement is an attempt to simplistically explain something that is so nuanced, it really cannot be disseminated to a large group of people all at the same time. There are elements of truth contained therein, but you don't get the full picture from a statement like that. But what happens then is that a statement like that becomes a catchphrase, and it gets passed on. It goes viral, right? It gets passed on, it gets passed around, and it ends up becoming a stone cold fact of Jeet Kune Do when it never started out as such. This is what I'm talking about. The value of having someone, and let me tell you, in some instances, you can come across somebody, right, who is junior to you and has something, and you can learn from them. Sifu Nisano taught us that way back in the early days. But essentially, what I'm saying is you have to keep an open mind to what it is that people might be trying to help you out with, as opposed to, no, I am saying what I'm saying. I know what I'm talking about, and I cannot be corrected on any of it because, well, I know it. That's what I'm saying. All right. So you guys let me know what you think about all that. That's pretty much all I got to say about this video. Let me take a quick look and make sure that people did get on. Okay, so I'm having a problem with Facebook because I cannot see, and now I'm frozen. Facebook does not like me. Okay, and we're back. So let me know in the comments below. That's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, comment, rate, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Follow me on Twitter at Dwight Woods, on Instagram at Dwight D Woods, at paypal.me/UnifiedMA Miami is the Jeet Kune Do Journey Volume 1, raw but edited version. And coming up on, I don't have a graphic for it, but coming up on Friday, 6 p.m. regular time, Jeet Kune Do Dialogues, a repeat appearance of with Andy Kimura of the Seattle Jun Fan Kung Fu Institute. So check in Friday at 6 p.m. for that. Today's a yellow day. I think this is the original from 4 years ago, first shirt that I wore for an I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcast. I need new shirts. I need a new wardrobe. Right? Okay. All right. So that's it. I'll see some of you on Friday at 6 p.m. with Andy Kimura. If not, see you next week for another issue of the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcast. Until then, this is Dwight Woods, the Jeet Kune Do Rebel, signing off. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. Talk soon. Take care.